Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am sure you are excited for this panel. Just looking at the beautiful Catalyst 2030 logo makes me happy every day. In fact, I am calling in from London today, everyone. So look, today's session, right, social entrepreneurs in action, hear from the experts. Just as a note, I'm the moderator. I'm not the expert because you get to hear from three amazing experts in this field. Okay, so in the meantime, thank you so much for your patience. We are getting the ball rolling. So first, if all of you who have joined, please feel free to introduce yourself, right, in the group chat. Your name, what do you do, where in the world? Once again, I'm from London at the moment. And yeah, if you have any questions, please do use our chat, right, to interactively engage with our three esteemed panelists, right? So definitely feel free to do that. I guess I can take this time to quickly introduce myself while we wait. So my name is Kenneth, and I am a very proud member of Catalyst 2030, I think since inception. I was there at the World Economic Forum in Davos 2020 when Catalyst 2030 was launched, and we've never looked back, right? Influencing and bringing together intergenerational, international, and cross-cultural impact creation. So for those of you who just joined recently, again, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. We look forward to this very engaging, exciting panel. And don't forget, we will have breakout rooms later today in this session, just so that you can work with everyone else. Thank you so much.
Kanika, if you can mute, please, and Bianca, if you can mute, if someone makes me co-host, I can mute. Thank you. Sorry about that, Kenneth.
No, not at all. I thought, that's something I always make as well. So excited to join, and we're like, hey, everyone. So look, we're gonna give it 1 or 2 more minutes, and then yeah, we'll get the ball rolling. So yeah, look forward to more introductions from everyone. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, and a big plug for those of you not familiar with the Catalyst 2030 community. We have Catalyzing Change Week happening, right, in May 2023, right? And trust me, being a part of this amazing social entrepreneurs in action, hear from the expert speaker at Global Entrepreneurship Week is the best way, to get ready and get geared up to join a big Catalyzing Change Week next year in May. And of course, our esteemed speakers, Ashraf, Raju, and Kevin, we are to definitely look forward for you also engaging with Catalyzing Change Week, right? I see some new joiners. Thank you so much for joining once again, right? And yeah, in the meantime, please, of course, feel free to introduce yourself. Can we jump to the next slide, please, so we can get the ball rolling, if that's okay? Great, thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for using that very flattering photo of me. That was taken quite a while back when I was at the UN. We were doing a young global leaders panel at Geneva in the UN headquarters. And I think that was actually one of the reasons why I got engaged in social impact. So thank you so much. Look, I'm going to stop talking because people are not here to listen to me, right? We're here to listen from our three esteemed speakers. As from practice, we always think it's best that our speakers introduce themselves because guess what? They will make it much more colorful. So if you don't mind, let's just go down the list. And Ms. Ashraf Patel, if you could kindly unmute and yeah, introduce yourself, the great work that you do with private and community, and frankly, anything else you would love our global audience to learn about you. Thank you so much.
So thanks a lot, Kenneth, and thank you so much. It's great fun to be in a Catalyst GEW event and looking forward to meeting everybody in the room and delighted to be with Kevin and Raju on the panel. So I'm Ashraf. I am with I represent actually many organizations. I've had the privilege of being associated with many, but maybe I'll mention a few. Prava is the organization that I first co-founded in 1993, way back. So now you know that how how much senior and old I am. And that's the fun of being part of this panel. It's really lovely to see the intergenerational group here. Prava started its work on youth leadership. And we have, and I've had the privilege with Prava to work with adolescents. We began our work with adolescents. Then we started working with young people in colleges, youth. Prava, that basically to really look at how social action can be a means of building self-transformation in young people, which we think is a systemic way of making social change happen. So we really worked on this idea of introducing self to society as a concept of building youth leadership. And Prava has therefore, we have worked with young people and youth workers, have been part of building capacities of large number of youth workers across the country. And across the life cycle, we also have been part of really being in the journey of roughly 700 young social entrepreneurs in their own quest for change and in their own discovery of self. So Prava is really that space which I've had the pleasure of working with. The other organization that I represent is ComMutiny, the Youth Collective. In 2008, we formulated this collective because we felt that we needed to build the youth work field. And so we collectivized many youth and young social entrepreneurs, as well as youth work organizations. And it is effectively a 100-member organization that is working towards building the field of youth leadership in India. We do collective public initiatives at large scale. And we also have developed fantastic learning and capacity building materials that youth workers across India and internationally are using. Lastly, we also work on policy, work very strongly with government and UN agencies to make sure that the narrative of youth leadership and youth work is spread and goes wide across all sectors. Thank you.
Thank you. Very inspiring. And, you know, when I hear just the breadth, you know, and the spectrum of social entrepreneurs that your various initiatives empower, we really think, you know, there's so much support, you know, that we can give as a collective. As you said, I feel like, you know, the Catalyst 2030 community is a great collective. And adding to that collective now, we have even teenage social entrepreneurs. So next up, once again, Mr. Kevin Wang, thank you so much for joining us from Australia, even in the middle of the night. Yes, please do take the opportunity to introduce yourself and yeah, everything that you do with Insightful Institute and your other ventures. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude for the organizer of the session, Catalyst 2030, and thank you for inviting me to join this panel with the other esteemed guests tonight, or today, I guess, 2 a.m. So my name's Kevin. I'm currently a 10th grader studying in Sydney, and I've dedicated myself to a variety of different ventures, such as being the founder of the Insightful Institute, as well as the co-founder for the Global Smart City Institute and the Youth for Difference group. For the Insightful Institute, it is essentially using my own personal framework to propagate myself and other members in incubating youth to become more successful and passionate about social change. The Global Smart City Institute is an international platform built with an international team, allowing for over 40 different projects from 12 different countries to come together and to discuss with one another. And Youth for Difference is really one of the ways that we're trying to give back to the community. We have organized a pretty large group of youth and have contributed over hundreds of volunteering hours of giving back to the community. And overall, I really think that today I'm here to talk about the learning that I've got from the social entrepreneurs I've met in my life. And I really love the idea that I can make a change when I know that this change can happen in areas that I am passionate about. I'm even more excited even more excited and driven to these social ventures because as I'm representing the youth voice, I'm extremely excited to showcase the work of not only myself, but also my teammates, my team members, and everyone else I've met along the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Again, I can't, thinking back, wow, 25 years ago when I was Kevin's age, that sounds like 3 generations of my life right there, right? Think about it. We're in high school. We're just so focused on academics, right? Trying to get into a university, get a job. Whereas, due to the mentorship provided by Ashraf, Raju, and other great social entrepreneurs, right? We have youth coming up at 15, 16 years old, roaring for social impact and change. Thank you so much, Kevin. And of course, before we jump to Raju and Kendre, everyone, please, if you have just joined, please also don't forget to introduce yourself in the chat with your name, right? With your organization, where you're calling in from, and some questions you may have for our amazing panelists. But yes, last but not least, Mr. Kendre, we would love to welcome you to unmute and introduce yourself and the great work that you do with Eklavya and other organizations.
Thank you, Kenneth. Glad to having here at this international platform. Thank you for this opportunity, Catalyst 2030 and Ashraf ji. Happy to mention that my social entrepreneur enterprise or startup is based or is built on my lived experience as coming from nomadic tribe community of Central India. I face first-hand experience with my educational struggle till my higher educational journey. I built with the help of like-minded community and core team. We build Eklavya. Currently, from 2017, we started Eklavya India movement, as we also call social enterprise, with 7 students. And today, in 6th year, we are working with 700 students. Under which we are targeting a first generation learner from specifically from Central India, who are coming from marginalized communities, as we most of the people from India here in our today's discussion. Caste is the major issue today also in India, as as a minority communities facing the basic accessibility of higher educational opportunities and various youth development opportunities and fellowship program. In last 5 years, we mentored and held many workshops. We orient more than 10,000 students, under which we trained more than 1,000 students, and we are able to cater the 700 students to who take admission in premier institutes like Tata Institute, Ajim Premji, IIT, IIM, and we are working with the vision to catalyze more than 10,000 first generation learners in most decade. As initially I mentioned that we recently launched a global scholar program. We are also trying to bridge the gap of higher education and scholarship fellowship opportunities at a global level also. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. So look, we have everyone, we have heard from the brief intros of our esteemed speakers. And now for those who have, joined some of the panels at which I have moderated, we kind of like to do popcorn style, right? Because it's interactive. It also keeps our speakers motivated, right? Be like, hey, let's be more engaging as possible. So look, the way that we're going to do it today is of course, we have more than a few questions, right, already submitted by audience members. So thank you so much for those who submitted. Let's start with apps, right? I'm going to ask first a question, and whoever unmutes first, okay, we're going to take this one. How about that? Of course, friendly competition as always, right? Number 1. Ooh, I love this one from the audience. What has your definition of success changed as a social entrepreneur from your previous roles? Ooh, definition of success. Who wants to unmute and go first? Oh, Kevin. See youth to the forefront. Yeah. All right, Mr. Wang, please go ahead.
Okay. I guess before like before I really started on this journey, I felt like success is kind of just like me thinking about how I can get the best outcome and the most prosperous things for myself, really. But like as I went along this journey of being a social entrepreneur, I realized that true success is also how much success and like how much good outcomes you can bring for others and how you can impact others in a positive way while also being rewarded and prosperous yourself. In my experience as being a speaker for the Global Younger Forum, which happened recently, I realized how much my experience and knowledge as such can really, really help others. And I realized that in doing these roles and being a speaker and spreading what I've gone through, I've just inspired and passed on knowledge in an international scale to use from over 25 different countries and inspired every single one to succeed in their own way. And really, I feel like by allowing others themselves to personally succeed, I've really, really been successful. And yeah, that's really how my definition of success has changed over time with being a social entrepreneur.
Wow. 15 going on 35, right? Being successful is helping others be successful. Wow, you could be, hey, Raju, are you looking for mentors in your organization? I think Kevin could be a good one as well, Ashraf, right? If you have volunteer positions to mentor, here we go, next generation. Right, thank you so much, Kevin. Oh, next question. Oh, wow. How were you able to tell your idea was good and move it to ideation, from ideation to commercialization and realization? Ashraf, I would love to pass the ball over to you for this.
Yeah, I think we are not at in terms of definition of social entrepreneurship. I think I just want to talk about the word commercialization. So our measure of social entrepreneurship is not only on the basis, in fact, not on the basis of commercialization, but is on the basis of how the idea and the initiative is spread and it is embedded in communities and really makes the social change happen. So how we measure success is not only the monetary piece, but it is also the impact and also the number of people and the communities that are engaged with the initiative. And I think one of the things that is core to making this happen is really looking at things systemically and making systems change part of your being and part of your organization in that sense. So what I think we have really focused on is, and I just want to take from what Kevin said in terms of what is success. And the success is beautiful, certainly in terms of connecting and helping others and understanding how your initiative can sort of add light to other initiatives. The other part of success is also co-leadership, co-creation, collectivization, and collaboration. So I think that is one of the core aspects of social entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship success. And that is what I think we are working on in terms of building an ecosystem, which is also what, for example, Catalyst 2030 is. We have set up a coalition called the Vartali Coalition, which is a cross-sectoral coalition that is investing in building youth leadership in a way that young people not only work on social change action, but are deeply engaged in reflection. And so personal transformation and social transformation happen together. So that's the our way of looking, one of the ways of looking at things.
Thank you so much, right? Professional and personal. In fact, I believe, and of course the Catalyst 2030 team can, attest to this, majority of the social enterprises within the Catalyst 2030 ecosystem have a very strong education and empowerment part of it. Whichever sector we're in, we always carve out time and resources to ensure that, we lead to sustainable, development and systemic change. So thank you so much for that. Ooh, next question. Raju, I guess this is coming over to you. Ooh, important habits and tips that you can give other social entrepreneurs to help them not only elevate the value of what you're achieving, but also tied to the points made by Kevin and Ashraf, right? Really bring in youth and systems upgrade.
Okay, thank you for this question. As my experience in last 6 years with my organization or social startup, I will say that as Ashrafji mentioned that we are also very people-centric or youth-centric working, and I will say that the habits as in my model, in our model, the mentors played a key important role, and giving the space to the young minds to critically think about our work, or to question about work, or to work or implement that idea, giving the space to second line leadership or any mentors or mentees in the model. I think that habit, I personally, we are with less resources, we build with we are able to build thousands youth network in Maharashtra and Central India because of this, I will say. And in our we are working with very marginal group, as coming from tribal communities and nomadic community, scheduled caste community. The empathy or socio-emotional learning, the part is very key component in terms of habits. As personally, my co-founding team also and me also engage with regular basis with my stakeholders, including our advisors or mentors and organizational mentor, and even students mentor, and also the local colleges and institution. That's it.
Thank you. You know, I'm just sitting here taking notes, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm already thinking, how can Ashraf, Raju, and Kevin work together? Oh, I'm sorry. Every time I do a panel, I'm like, we gotta have a collective call to action, right? Not just individual ones. So hints, this will be the closing question, ladies and gentlemen, for the three esteemed speakers. Sorry. Sometimes people are like, Kenneth, stop being so creative. Well, I'm sorry. To create systemic change, you got to start with innovation. Look, thank you so much. We're going to get our second round of questions from our audience to the speakers. So same principles, right? I'm going to ask a question, and for those interested, right, please unmute and take it. Ooh, I love this one too. I remember seeing this from a previous conversation. How have your priorities shifted since starting your own social enterprise, both professionally and personally? And how do you create change and become resilient in the face of adversity? Ooh, Raju, you're still unmuted. So would you like to take this question, right? Once again, right, how have your priorities shifted over time, and how did you adapt?
Sorry, can you repeat again, last part?
Sure, yeah. So how have your priorities changed over time, and how are you adapting and continuing to demonstrate resilience as a social entrepreneur?
No, definitely. As a social entrepreneur, you have to be always ready to face the challenges. And again, in last 6 years, as earlier, we always test our model and always went in youth or people in colleges to test our idea and how we can build on that. Initially, our focus was very short term, like if students took admission in particular institute, that's it, that is what the count. But after 2-3 years experience, we found that gap. We should give continuous handholding to our students. That is that we improve in last 6 years in our model. Also in terms of mentors community, or earlier I was very earlier, from last decade, I was engaged with very grassroots organizations and NGO and various social movement. But I found that if we want scale our work, or if we want build our work, we should think critically. And the social enterprise model is perfect for that, to build our to scale up current model. And I am personally admiring the social entrepreneur like Ashraf and Kevin, because social entrepreneurship is the only thing that we the India is a huge country. If you take the central India part, and I am planning to for next 1 decade or 2 decade, where I am working the central India with tribal centric population base, more than 200 million population is there. It's like if you take the country wise population, it will be a top 20 country with respect to population. And there can't be the project oriented or NGO model can't be sustained. There should be more social entrepreneurs like me, or thousands like Ashraf and Kevin in specifically country like Central India in South Asia.
Absolutely. And I know, look, we have to go to breakout rooms very soon, but we have these two burning questions from the audience. So I hope we can get them addressed. And fundraising. I love how this question always comes up. For this one, Ashraf, I hope you don't mind calling you on this. Based on my vetting your bios, you have a lot of experience in advising, not just for yourself, but also for the entrepreneurs you train. Yeah, happy to, share some thoughts on the topic of fundraising for social entrepreneurs.
Okay. So the most difficult question is landed, I think, and I'm sure the young entrepreneurs here in the room are probably doing a better job than I am. So we'd love to hear from others as well. So I think one thing for us, at least what we have, what in general, that to be really diversify the fundraising wherever it's coming from. And I feel the best fundraising, and it's not necessarily that we may have done the best at it, but I always feel that the best fundraising is from and with the community itself. So, for example, if we are working with, for example, Raju and Jimmy here, and maybe some others here are Change Loomers, members of the Change Looms program. And I think the best thing is not to look at fundraising for one organization, but to look at fundraising for a community and with the community. So if members and people that we are working with join together, co-create and collaborate and raise resources together for the ecosystem, I feel that's a more sustainable way of looking at things than fundraising for just one organization. And that's why this whole idea of ecosystem building, where you build the fundraising community and the fundraising pool. So the other piece related to fundraising is building the narrative. The more we spread and talk about our work and engage not just funders, but public at large, that is what builds it builds a commitment to the issue. So the mission is the core, not to lose the mission, to communicate the mission firmly and widely, and the funds will follow. And to always, no matter the big funders may be there, but to focus on creating an ecosystem of funders with your community. I think that is what we are trying to do. We will get better at, and that's what I believe is the most sustainable way to support the mission. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Multi-stakeholder. Kevin and all youth entrepreneurs out there, I hope you're taking note, right? Ashraf gave lots of brilliance, intelligence, and experience on the success of fundraising. And Kevin, we're going to come to you last, right, before we jump into breakout rooms, right? How would you give tips or advice to other 15 to 20-something-year-olds who are at the crossroads of having to study hard, right, and fulfill obligations and responsibilities versus going out in the real world and making impact like you do, right? So definitely, we'd love to hear some of your experiences, of course, quickly, and how you can empower a future generation of social entrepreneurship.
Okay. I think if you're around my age, like being pretty young, you have a lot to juggle on your plate, quite frankly. Like even I myself find it sometimes really hard to like get across all the academic and all the other things I'm doing outside of school. I think one of the most important things really with these types of things is having like a good network or a platform that you're involved in. Having a very nice network of friends, nice network of mentors. This is really important because, for example, my GSCI is actually a platform, but simultaneously I kind of see it as a network as well, because through it I have access and I know a lot of different pioneer projects. I learn about many different people. These people can support me along. They can give me advice. I can help them as well. It's a mutually beneficial experience, especially within these large networks. Another example is I'm a youth ambassador for the Aerial Foundation International, and we have a very close-knit group where we give each other advice. We have opportunities to offer each other. Really, it's these types of networks and things that you should really establish with your close-knit friends, your pretty your intelligent acquaintances, your mentors. Through this network, you can have access so many more opportunities, and you can access so much advice and help from others. And frankly, it just makes the entire experience like way easier. Like you won't get stressed as much to death. Right.
Yeah, camaraderie and rapport, right?
Yeah.
Look, due to time, thank you so much, right? Look, we have amazing breakout rooms, when you can all get to connect with everyone. And yes, everyone, I do expect a very, very solid call to action between, you and the speakers, right? At the end of our engagements. So now, I would love to, I guess the team here would basically put each other, right, into the groups. And yes, let's reflect on what social innovation and project idea that you would like to implement in your community, and definitely think about the wisdom given to us by Ashraf, Raju, and Kevin, and how they and their work can integrate into your community. Okay, so thank you so much, and see everyone very soon.
So you should be able to see the breakout rooms to go into them. So go ahead and select on your screen to go to the breakout rooms. Speakers are also going to join the breakout rooms, so then you might get a chance to meet some of them in person. If for some reason you need us to put you in the breakout room, let us know. And if you're not able to go to the breakout room because you're multitasking, that's fine. Just stay in here. So Kevin, you and Kenneth can run into one of those breakout rooms now. And
hello. Wow, these things always seem just fly by. Everyone's, getting so excited about presenting and contributing their ideas. And again, it's all about building the collective. Just to check in with our amazing organization team, we do, I understand, have a closing from Dawn as well later on. Until then, are we running polls first, or do we have, how much time do we have to give the teams to give some feedback on their group discussions?
Yep, you've got till 3 till, and then we'll finish up. So we only need 3 minutes, and I'll probably do it. John hasn't been able to make it yet.
Okay, got it. So why don't we call, well, Kevin, since you're on literally my upper left screen, right? Yeah, share with us some of the insights that you've had, right, with your small group. Any interesting perspectives and stories to share?
Yeah, I've talked with Siddharth during my breakout room session, and I've learned a lot about the initiative, like knitting huts, like bringing together women who are pretty proficient in knitting and giving them a job like this. Like I understand it's pretty hard, and I must admit I'm no expert in that field, but it's really interesting to see like his experience, the struggles he's been through with his own initiative, and like his future ambitions. And really, Siddharth, I wish the best of all to your endeavors, and I hope you succeed in what you do. Good luck. And also, I've also had a chat with Glory. She's really, is Glory still here? Anyways, she's really involved in like the women's initiative. And part of what she's planning to do, which is backed by that women's initiative is like creating an establishment of people of like humbler, like maybe worse backgrounds and giving them something to do. I think that's like a really great idea. Like, I know the plan is still in its infancy, and I know she still has a lot to go, like a team to form, things like that. But really, Glory, best of luck to you as well. I hope I gave you a few tips and pointers in the breakout rooms, and I hope you found it useful. Yeah, best of luck to you guys.
Thank you so much. How about you, Ashraf, right? I mean, have you found new ideas from your short panel, right? Anything you would love to share? And this is a great chance, by the way, Ashraf, to talk about, some of your upcoming activities, maybe that, our whole class 2030, especially guests today, can benefit as well.
Some of the upcoming, sorry.
Yes, some of the upcoming initiatives that your organizations have planned for 2023, so we can all jump in and drive collective community action. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. It was great. The connection was variable, unfortunately. So I had Jimmy from Tweak Learning. I had Adi. Adi was joining, and he's working on SDGs and working on clowning, which is very interesting because he is with an organization called Heartbeat. So we learned a little bit about that, which is also work that happens in India. And then we had Lynette from Kenya. So, and she's working on gender-based awareness. We also had Deep Jyoti, who also is working with a wonderful organization called Farm to Food in India, and is also part of the coalition. So I knew some of the people in the room. It was fun. It was like just meeting friends again and making new friends. And I think I want to share that one thing about social entrepreneurship, about funding, about partnerships, all the questions. I think the running theme is building relationships, building friendship. And the conversation in the room is not just about work, but it's about who we are. We couldn't have a very heavy conversation, but it was just nice to hear something about the people in the room. So I think that's what my takeaway was, connecting genuinely to the people, and then the work we can talk about later. The other piece was, I just want to share, what is coming up. Deep Jyoti was in the room. Rajesh is here as well. My colleagues, some of my colleagues are here. Rajesh is the director of programs and ComMutiny, and Kanika is the convener. We have change loomers here, Raju, Jimmy, and I think many others. Maybe I haven't seen the whole participant list. So I'm representing also what is called the Varta Leap Coalition, and the coalition is working on the mission, every youth a Jagrik, every space nurturing Jagriks. And the Jagrik it's a Hindi word which we've coined. It is a self-awakened active citizen. That's what it means. So what we are trying to do is redefine and add to the idea of active citizenship, the concept of being self-awakened, which means it's not an act of just doing service or action. It is also about reflection. And it is also about constantly evolving as a person. So to make social entrepreneurship and social action a deep transformational experience for and with young people together, designing innovative programs and initiatives. And one of the new initiatives that we have been working on, it's not new, but we are planning to scale, and what we call scale with soul is a game. Is a game for, I won't expand it because there's no time, but it's a game on understanding and practicing and living the Constitution values of equality, justice, liberty, and fraternity. It's young people do actions, reflections in a gaming format over a period of 6 weeks to 6 months. And through these actions, they learn about living the Constitution values, the fundamental rights and duties. And this actually transforms their understanding about social change, which then goes a long way in informing how we lead our lives and also in promoting social entrepreneurship. So this is one of the initiatives that we are doing at scale. It'd be lovely if people can join us. It's a very exciting gaming initiative, which has deep transformation and social action potential and possibilities. So that's what I wanted to end with. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Look, as I say, I think one of the recurring themes from today, right, is friendship, relationships, but also build a relationship with yourself, everyone, right? You are literally the vessel of creation of impact. So Raju, right, if you have anything to add from your conversations with your small group, we would love to get additional perspective as well. Thank you so much.
It was actually fortunately, and the two people are from my native place. We were talking in Marathi only, and in our vernacular language, and we had general discussion about how the how not about idea, but I will call they are all our entrepreneur, and they are contributing to build to build a better world. But I want to share, as Ashraf ji also mentioned, uh, how the next way I had in terms of Eklavya. Can I share this in little 1 minute? Can it?
Of course, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to in terms of accessibility and opportunity, and especially Central India, we have even government data and very as personal level we are very lacking. I want to I am working with the vision to establish an institution interdisciplinary where like Ashraf ji mentioned Jagrik and our constitutional values and human rights and social empathy and all 21st century skill. As I came from last year from London, I did my MSc from London. I want to also explore the global opportunities, and I want to such an institution where the leadership from grassroots to be built there, because most of the as we talk about sustainable development goals and many non-profit and development sector and social enterprise leading by a certain class or certain a privileged group. And I personally believe that the uh, problem those who have lived experience with problem, they should or they must lead the problems. They must lead as a development practitioner or development leader or social entrepreneur. And we are trying to build such kind of institution in next 1 decade. And I hope we are working with the mission. We want to catalyze the 10,000 youths from Central India, and that is our mission. And I hope the platform like Catalyst 2030, Pravaha, ComMutiny will be support, and that are already as a part of Change Loomer, that already I am part of that community. And I hope such kind of platform will give the motivation or to confidence to work hard in next 1 decade. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. It's, 1 hour just flies by, and as we say, and again, very grateful to Catalyst 2030, and of course, Debbie, to your leadership, right? I mean, literally the queen of, inclusive and sustainable education. So, and of course, system change as well, right? So look, I really hope everyone take what they have. We do a lot of webinars and panels, but yeah, just remember 3-4 key points from today's session. Right? You have the voices of Kevin who are like, even at 15, find a way within academics and a lot of priorities to identify areas of impact and influence your peers. Because again, if you bring peers along, the ride is much more fun, right? You have Ashraf who talks about, like, again, think in ecosystem perspective, where you can bring, not just for the sake of fundraising, right, but impact creation, multi-stakeholderism. And of course, finally, we have Raju, who are just, I can't imagine running literally and having this vision of empowering 10,000 youth, right, to become social entrepreneurs, social innovators, right, social activists in the causes, especially break through the caste system and frankly, bring system change from a social point of view as well. So these 3 points are what I noted down, and I will definitely take away from this amazing session. And I'm sure each of you, please go back on the chat and add our speakers on LinkedIn so that hopefully a year back later, next year in GEW 2023, we could showcase new partnerships that were born from this amazing 1 hour conversation. And one last thing, I think, Carla, it's, I think there's a question, right, how do you measure success? I think that, and check if you're working towards the right direction. that will be a fun exercise. Once you message our speakers on LinkedIn and get their feedback, please report back to our group. So without further ado, thank you so much once again for, Mr. Kevin Wang, Mr. Ashraf, Patel, and Mr. Raju, Kendre. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're very, very busy with everything you do. So thank you for sharing your insights. And now I would love to pass the ball back to our very own Miss Debbie for the closing and looking ahead. What can we expect more from the Catalyst 2030 community? Thank you.
Great. Well, once again, we thank you all for attending and joining us today, and of course, our amazing speakers. We are launching a poll right now to let us know how the session went. We'd love to have your feedback and then to also get information for future events that we host here at Catalyst. We also want to let you know about the upcoming events as part of the Global Social Entrepreneurship Week, are we calling it. There is a session that's going to be in Spanish coming up on the 15th, and then on Thursday the 17th we have an Africa session that everyone is welcome to join in on, and we'd love to have you. Cherry is going to put that information in the chat so you have access to those links. And then finally, the ASEAN group is doing amazing work. They actually are doing a new policy initiative, and they have a whole learning series around that. In these links that we'll be sharing with you as well, you'll see information to register, but then also resources on the policy initiative if you'd like to share that as well. And that's going to be focused on ASEAN. So we'd love to have that. Feel free to continue to fill out the poll as we go. And then lastly, I do want to share about Catalyst 2030. Catalyst 2030 is a global network of social change innovators from around the world. And we'd love to have you if you are a social innovator and you are working in this space. We're almost up to 2,000 members, active members in the group. It's getting a little insane, I agree. And we're representing 197 countries and territories with over 2 billion lives that are touched by the work of these social entrepreneurs. So if you're part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week network, we'd love to have you join Catalyst as well. You've heard a little bit about us, so love to share more. Here's our contact information if you'd like access to it. And what I'd like to do with the remaining 3 minutes is our 3 speakers. You get 1 minute each. What are your final words to the people that are here today? What would you like them to know? And we can take the screen off and ask the 3 speakers that last question. So I'm going to kick off to Raju. What would be your ending advice to everyone?
Be real. Be real. If you're coming from some certain privileges, be empathetical with beneficiary or your mentees or your target group. Okay, and try to give space to margin and marginalized communities to build more leaders. Thank you.
Great. I'll pass it on to Ashraf.
Okay, so for me, it is anywhere you are, whoever you are, whatever you do, whatever we all do, make time, make space for young people in your midst, whether you're young or old, it doesn't matter. All of us are around young people. Let's all work together so that young people have space of love, learning, freedom, ownership, and social hope. That's the space that will nourish youth leadership across the world. Thank you.
Kevin, final words.
I guess at the end of the day, really, if you want to do something, and it has to be, you have to have passion in, like you have to be passionate about it. If you have passion in it, can you do a good job? Can you enjoy the experience? Can you take a lot out of it? And really, I think what we all need to do is like to confirm our passion if we haven't yet. And if we have found our passion, we have to act on it, like walk the talk, do something, create a team, have an idea, do that idea. I think that's really the most important thing I want to convey at the end of the day. And thank you very much.
Kenneth, any last words? And then we're done.
No, the last words have been given by our speakers. Well, also a big round of applause, everyone, for the more amazing Debbie and the organization team, Carla and Cherry as well. Thank you, everyone.
Go girl. Take care. Unmute and say goodbye to everyone. Have a good afternoon or evening or morning.